responsibility, Joe? It is? Okay, you know that. All right.
Yeah, council owned, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Alrighty, Graham, please. Oh, no, don't worry.
Sorry, I was looking at the sheet before. I thought it wasn't up for till after the break, so excuse me while I get myself organised.
You're all good.
I've ordered in drinks all round.
You shouldn't have gotten so much trouble.
All right. What you see in front of you is from the long-term plan. I draw your attention to the chart on the top of the chart on the left, where it's jumped from the blue line at under 6% to 13.4. Just find my list, it tells me what I'm saying. So I keep rewriting this, and it's just a matter of finding out where I've put what I want to say.
You're right. No, right.
Rightio. Okay, how do I get to the next one? That's it. Right, the rates increases for existing taxpayers from the 15 to 25 long-term plan. The main thing I noticed there was that it's both started up near the 8% mark, but it's just the change made to reduce the actual drop of it, so it went down a lot quicker. What I've done is I've put the figures from both of those two charts together, and there's a couple of things that I'd like to draw your attention to it. From the 15 to 24 decade, we ended up with 54.8% rise on the original rates. If you start with 1,000 for the start of that 2015, you'll have another 54.8% on top of that. Okay, so it's over half again, right? For the planned long-term plan for 25 to 34, or 24 to 34, nominal 47.18. But I'm pleased to see you actually got the cumulative figure, which is 57.8. So the first couple of years, as you go along the track, you're also paying interest on interest virtually. So you're starting with a lovely large figure of 13.24. So every year after that builds on that first year's increase, 20% in the first 2 years. This chart shows the earnings and salary rate increases up till December 21st or 21. The index shows it's been under 2.5%, and the ordinary hourly earnings are under 5% until June 22. So it's quite low to begin with, then it took a big jump and now it's starting to taper off again. This is parallel to the inflation rates. 5.25% in the year up to January 22, 7.1 in the year up to January 23, and 5.075 in the year up to 24. I'll come back shortly to why those figures are important, but I'm not going to have much time to get there. All right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to jump. I'm sorry. You can have a look through this later. All right. My house is the one marked 24. And if you look across that line, land and house, 938 square metres, I'm paying $4,756 a year in rates. That, on the original thing 11 years ago, is a jump of 221%, an average of 20% per year. So when I look at your long-term plan, I shudder. These figures were based on, as you saw in the earlier chart, the long-term plans an average of 5.79%. So, the amended one was 5.48. So when you're talking 13.24, and I know I've had 20% on the previous figures, I wonder what I'm going to be facing. The thing is, it's not just me. There are increasing numbers of people over 65. Luckily, we don't have a mortgage in most cases, and as the younger ones come through, they'll still be paying their mortgages when they retire. But these sort of figures are untenable. If we go back forward one, you'll see some possible income levels. And if you look at some of those, like single super, even couple super, minimum wage, you take that chunk of rates out of that weekly wage, and that's a substantial amount out of someone's income. I've run out of time.
No, carry on a wee bit. That's right.
Well, in my submission, I put in that your LTP plans for high increase in rates is inflationary, because people who are paying a mortgage are having to find more and more money to pay your rates. In Addington, we have probably 35%, a third are home owners who live in the house. The rest are rented. So that 2/3 are going to pass that cost on, because most of them can't afford to actually suffer it. You're talking about a business rate of 2.2 of the standard rate. Currently it's 1.6. You are going to make, as Jared said earlier on, people are finding it hard in business. You're going to make it harder for them. The crunchers, you're going to make it harder for yourself, because all those businesses you deal with are going to be paying you more rates. They're going to put up their prices, which means the council is going to be paying more money. I don't see the point in it. Mm-hmm. So, as I say, I've got more to say, but the other thing you might not be aware of is the figures that, as I said, with the 20% for me, it's not just me. I've done back to the one we just had. If we go back to the other one, the chart with the different values here, I looked at properties around me. I have 3 empty sections, 3,300 square metres beside me. Mm-hmm. It was originally destined for housing and is now supposed to be heading to be motels when they get your recreation place in Antigua Street finished, Pariore. That's got a higher square metre rate, but that used to be 3 houses. If someone in my age group owned one of these houses, they would be, that's under the 28/3. If someone owned one of those 3 houses, they'd be paying over $5,000 a year on rates on a property valued over $1 million. Mm-hmm. It's just not sustainable for someone on a single income or even a couple. And we're in Addington. We're not Mirrorvale or Fendleton or up the Cashmere Hills. We're Addington. Mm-hmm. And the reason is simple. They go on what the value of the land is for replacing it with townhouses or units. Mm-hmm. So 1,000 square metres, you get 8 to 10 units on it. So that determines what the value of that land is.
Thank you very much. Sorry, yeah.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, far away. Yeah.
I know I'm going over time.
No, you're right.
Go. I also own a property. I used to own a butcher shop. There's a butcher shop and a house on the same chunk of land. Both were built in 1906. Last year, the council suddenly became aware of them. And the last valuation, I got 2 lots of valuations, one for the house and land, and one for the butcher shop and the land. My lease with the butcher shop, which has been in place for 13 years, allocates 30% of the rates to their payment, or for them to pay it, based on the land area, and that includes half a driveway. When I got the change, it jumped to 64% attributable to the butcher shop, because they'd valued the butcher shop higher than the house, even though it's only using less than half the amount of land. There's several things from that. One is you're giving people increases. In some cases, they can't pass them on. The second thing is it took a lot of effort to actually get that changed. And in fact, when I come to pay the rates, not this time yesterday, but 3 months ago, I turned up to pay the rates on what I've been billed, and suddenly I was more to pay because they've revalued you again. So I paid extra at the time, but the fact that I was actually just given a bill on the spot without being pre-warned about the increase, that was because they reevaluated it. I opposed it when they sent it out, and they reevaluated and put it up another $25,000. They have reassessed it and they've dropped it back, so I think the rates for the butcher shop now account for 41% of the total rates, but it's only using 30% of land. But my lease is I can only charge them 30. So you're in some cases giving people increases, especially in the business sector, they're not able to pass on.
Fully understand. Yeah.
So, and it's not just me.
No.
And why you should be taking concern about this is two reasons. One, there are small businesses like the Lincoln Road and small dairies on corners who are paying full business rates and are not getting any discount because there's a house in the back someone's living in. It's considered minor. They're paying business rates all the way through. And where that's important is the current Minister of Housing wants to see more mixed-use buildings in the centre of town. So you're going to have to find some way that fairly apportions those that are businesses as opposed to those that are used as dwellings.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention.
Right.
Thank you. Look at that, we're up the page. We have got...
Another half second. I've got all these glasses. Now, if we have inflation at 4%, we get a wage rise of 4%. Right? Trying to make them full. So we put that back in the pot. If we have rates go up twice the rate of inflation, our jug goes down rather rapidly. This is an extreme version, but the same thing. Doesn't matter whether you take a half glass at a time, a quarter glass, a tenth of a glass. If the second glass that you're putting in is less than what you're taking out, your jug goes down. And I'd like to point out that the homeless have the right idea. They've found a way to beat the system. They don't pay rates. They don't pay income tax. They don't pay road user charges. I rest my case.
Thank you. Ross, please.